Them that's God shall get, them that's not shall lose. For the Bible says, and it still is news. Mama may have, and Papa may have, but God bless the child that's got his own, that's got his own.
It began after many years of whispers, unanswered questions, unspoken thoughts, reality. I mean, can we see today, tomorrow, or tomorrow, today?
Segregation of white and Negro children in the public schools of a state solely on the basis of race, pursuant to state laws permitting or requiring such segregation, denies to Negro children the equal protection of the laws guaranteed by the 14th Amendment, even though the physical facilities and other tangible factors of white and Negro schools may be equal.
The history of the 14th Amendment is inconclusive as to its intended effect on public education. The questions presented in these cases must be determined not on the basis of the conditions existing when the 14th Amendment was there, but in the light of the full development of the public education and its present place in American life throughout the nation.
Is there a way to balance this?
Where a state has undertaken to provide an opportunity for an education in its public schools, such an opportunity is a right, which must be made available on all equal terms. Segregation of children in public schools solely on the basis of race deprives children of the minority group of equal educational opportunities, even though the physical facilities and other tangible factors may be equal.
Separate.
The separate but equal doctrine adopted in Plessy versus Ferguson has no place in the field of education.
Separate but.
The cases are restored to the docket for further argument on specified questions relating to the forms of the decrees.
Separate but equal.
Separate but equal.
Separate but equal.
Separate equal.
Separate but equal.
You know, I just have one question to ask, and that is why? Why can't they just stay in their own communities, in their own homes? Don't they have school for their own people? I just don't get it. Why do they want to come to school with all white children? Now, don't get me wrong. I have always been kind to the colored people of this town. My family's always extended the Christian hand of employing them. But I still do not approve of this mixture in these schools. Don't they understand the problems that this Brown case will cause? Not only will there be fights, but these colored children are not as advanced as our white children are, and it will take far too long for them to catch up. Now, it's not our fault that these children are behind. They ought to get better colored teachers, maybe. Now, like I said before, I am in no way against these colored people. I just think they ought to stay in their place.
I want to go to Tuskegee.
I want to go to Grambling.
I want to go to Prairie View.
I want to go to Morehouse.
I want to go to Howard.
I want to go to Clark.
But what school are you going to apply to?
The University of Alabama.
That's what all of Dr. Davis's siblings did. They applied to the University of Alabama because they knew they were so racist, they would rather pay them to go to a black school than allow them to go to a white one. Missouri ex-rel gains. I've studied a lot of law in my day, but nothing ever stuck with me like Missouri ex-rel gains. Gaines won the case. Well, ex-rel Gaines won the case. Ex-rel means on behalf of. The case was named on behalf of Gaines because Gaines disappeared. Funny thing, isn't it? For a black man to up and disappear, especially before integrating an all-white graduate school. They never did find the body. I can imagine it was rough for his family. I can imagine. Now, I didn't apply to graduate school at the University of Texas immediately. I suppose you can understand my apprehension. No, I took a year off. When I finally did work up the nerve to apply and was accepted, it was the happiest day of my life, and the scariest day. I mean, it had always been my dream to go to law school, but I also didn't want an ex-rel sweat case named on my behalf. Anyway, University of Texas told me wait 6 months and they would build me a law school. Build me a law school. And I went along with it, you know. I mean, I guess I always was more partial to a smaller class size. Build me a law school. Look, they didn't build me anything. They took some old books and they stuck them in a supply building. They took 2 or 3 professors and they stuck them in the building, and then they expected me to accept it? I accepted it as an insult to me and my people and anybody else who felt that dying for an education was something that they were willing to do. The case was ruled in my favor, and I integrated the University of Texas. I went on and I got my master's from the University of Washington, and I got another master's from Atlanta University. You know, no one really asked me why I never finished the University of Texas Law School. If they ever did, I guess I would tell them it was rough. It was rough.
You can change the law, but can you change the heart? You can change the law, but can you change the heart? You can change the law, but can you change the heart? You can change the law, but can you change the heart? You can change the law, but can you change the heart? You can change the law, but can you change the heart? You can change the law, but can you change the heart?
You can't change anything! No matter what you do to them, it will always just be a nigger! Ex-rel Missouri versus Gaines! They never found his body! All he wanted to do was learn, and they never found his body! You can't change it! They will always hate you!
Been around a long time. Seen a lot. Hope to see more. Went to school in the South for 6 years. Did not have much schooling, but I remember what wasn't much. Tore up books. I thought Brown was good. A good thing. I wasn't feeling nothing but good about the whole thing. Nothing but good about the whole thing.
1954.
1954.
May 17th!